So let's talk about a real Wall Street mystery. It's all about a company called UiPath. And honestly, it's a fascinating situation where the company's stock is absolutely flying, but at the same time, the experts are waving some serious red flags. So what is actually going on? And here's that mystery in black and white. This is the central paradox. On one side, you have the market, which is clearly thrilled with UiPath. The stock is up over 25% this year alone. But then, you look at what the analysts are saying, and their consensus is that the stock is heading for a drop of almost 10%. So, who's right? What are we missing here? Okay, to get to the bottom of this, you really have to understand that there are two completely different stories being told about where UiPath is headed. It's this classic Wall Street battle between a really bold, exciting vision for the future and some very, very serious risks. All right, let's start with the good stuff, the bull case. This is the optimistic story, the one that's been pushing that stock price higher and higher. And it all kicks off with the company making a huge, dramatic pivot away from the very thing that made them a household name in the first place.
You see, for the longest time, UiPath was basically the king of the castle in a field called Robotic Process Automation, or RPA. I mean, they owned over a third of the market. They were the go-to for helping companies automate all those boring, repetitive, digital tasks. But now, they're setting their sights on something way, way bigger.
And this right here is the heart of their new vision, Agentic AI. So what does that even mean? Well, instead of just automating one simple, mindless task, Agentic AI is all about creating a system that can orchestrate everything. We're talking humans, old legacy software, new AI models, the whole shebang. The goal is for the system to reason, to plan, and to make smart decisions. Think of it like a conductor leading a huge, complex orchestra. So how are they pulling this off? Well, their new platform is really built on three key pieces. First up, you've got Maestro. That's the conductor we were just talking about, the brains of the operation. Then there's Autopilot, which is amazing. It lets you boss it around just using plain English. And finally, Screenplay, which is this super clever AI that can literally look at another program's screen and figure out how to use it. No complicated integrations needed. And look, UiPath knows they can't do this alone. And they're not. They've announced these massive partnerships with the absolute titans of the AI world. We're talking OpenAI, Google, NVIDIA, Snowflake. When you've got that crew in your corner, you know people are taking your vision very seriously. So, that all sounds pretty incredible, right? A dominant company, a game-changing new plan, powerhouse partners. It kind of begs the question, why on earth are Wall Street analysts and even some company insiders tapping the brakes? And that brings us to the other side of the coin, the bear case. The biggest worry, the thing that keeps the bears up at night, is this right here. What happens if the massive AI models from companies like Google get so smart that they don't need a conductor? The number one fear is that these large language models could just learn to do all this orchestration themselves, effectively making UiPath's entire platform obsolete, a middleman that's no longer needed. And this isn't just some far-off theory, right? There are real, on-the-ground problems happening today. Their automation bots can be pretty fragile. Sometimes they break if a website just changes its layout a little bit. Dealing with unexpected errors is still super complex, and finding developers who actually have the skills to build this stuff is a huge bottleneck. And all of this is happening while big companies are getting nervous about the economy and tightening their software budget. Now, this number, 1.55, it tells you a whole lot about the kind of ride you're in for. It's the stock's beta, and all it means is that UiPath is 55% more volatile than the market as a whole. So when things are good, the stock tends to go up even more. But when the market goes down, it can fall much, much harder. This is definitely not a stock for the faint of heart. And then you've got what I like to call the human signals. The analysts, most of them are just sitting on the fence with a hold rating. They aren't screaming buy. And maybe even more telling, you've seen ongoing selling of the stock by company insiders. That always makes you wonder about their own confidence in the long-term story.
All right, so we've got the super optimistic bull story and the really serious bear story. How do we even begin to weigh this evidence? Let's look at a few more critical factors that could really tip the scales one way or the other.
First off, there's something huge happening literally right around the corner. On January 2nd, 2026, UiPath is getting added to the S&P MidCap 400 index. Now, why is that a big deal? Because it means that every single investment fund that tracks that index is now forced to buy UiPath stock. It's a guaranteed shot of adrenaline, a built-in boost in demand no matter what. Then there's this number, $1.7 billion. That's how much cash the company is sitting on. And that is a massive, massive advantage. It's a huge safety net that lets them survive any economic storms, but more importantly, it's fuel to pour into their technology or even to go out and buy smaller AI companies to make their vision happen even faster. And it's not like their main business is struggling. Far from it. Just look at their financial health. Their gross margin is an incredible 83%. The average for a software company is 70%. That basically means their core business is a cash-printing machine, which gives them a ton of stability and resources. Okay, so let's just lay it all out, side by side. The bulls are betting on a visionary strategy, a powerful new platform, and just rock-solid financials. The bears, on the other hand, are focused on that existential threat from big tech, the tough technical challenges, and those worrying signals from insiders and analysts. This is the whole tug-of-war in a nutshell. So after looking at everything, the technology, the money, the market sentiment, the risks, it really all boils down to one single ultimate question that is going to define this company's future. Is UiPath about to become the universal, essential conductor for this new AI workforce, pulling all the strings from a position of incredible power? Or will it end up being a relic, just a transitional piece of tech that was eventually made irrelevant by the very AI giants it's partnering with today? The market is betting one way, the experts are leaning another. And honestly, the only thing we know for sure is that the answer is going to be fascinating to watch.